What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, that's where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. And this last week has been a busy one. So if you enjoy the Scale News Update, hit the like button and let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, RC4WD Drive launching the 2.2 Thornbirds, the worst tire in full size, now available in a 2.2 scale tire. These 2.2 Thornbirds made in a 5.3 inch tire height, so they're not overly tall. Maybe it'll help fit them on something that wasn't normally intended to have 2.2s, but you want to shove a bigger tire in there, and you have terrible taste. And if all of those stars align, this is a great option for you. But available now, check the website, linked below, as well as a lot of other stories. Another one from RC4WD Drive specifically is the release of the TF24 topper, little injection molded thing that goes on the back of that well, it's called like a TF2 124, whatever. It's their new little 124 scale truck, injection molded cap, topper, camper shell, depends on where you grew up. I grew up calling it a topper. You call it whatever you would like. Doesn't have windows. There's just black stickers that go over the top. It's $20, available now. And last but definitely not least from RC4WD Drive, the Rust Bucket version of the TF2 Blazer. They took the Blazer that they already make and they patinaed it. Looks more like they sponge painted the body with some brown paint. And then they put all of the bright, shiny chrome and everything else back onto it. So it looks very... It doesn't have a very consistent look. Like, is it old or is it with that patinaed look with the very bright chrome and everything else very clean? It's kind of a hard sell. The patina paint job, I don't know. This one's going to be on you guys to decide what you think of this decision. They released this on the same day that Scale News came out last week, so it's been a week now. We've all kind of started to get a little used to it. Maybe it's the first you're seeing it. Let me know what you think. And this week again, I want to thank Send Cut Send for sponsoring this month of the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with Send Cut Send, they're a manufacturer that you upload your own files and they will laser cut or CNC machine the parts based on whatever you provide them. You can get an instant quote and price goes down with quantity. So if you had the design for your own chassis and you wanted to upload it, you can get some very reasonably priced parts and launch your own brand even if you like. If you're interested in Send Cut Send, there's a link to them in the description below. Check it out. Find a file to upload. They take a ton of different file formats. Throw it up there and get an instant quote. You'll be super surprised at how great their pricing is. Again, thanks to sendcutsend.com for sponsoring this month of the Scale News Update. For you Tamiya fans out there, a huge number of the Tamiya kits came back in stock recently. So if you've been looking for a certain one or specifically one of the newer ones, now's the time to check. I've linked to where you can find a bunch of them in the description below. Go check those out. A ton of them available now. They've been a little bit difficult to get a hold of depending on which one you've been after. So if you've been thinking about it, definitely a good idea to pick them up while they're in stock. TGH dropped a number of new products this week. The first one is this new modular bumper setup. This has a couple of plates that mount to the outside of your chassis rail, and then you're able to fit a metal bar through those mounts. This gives you metal bumper points without having to fabricate. Specifically, this is great for chassis with non-standard widths. So you can drop that in there, set the bumper to wherever you like, cut that bumper bar to length so you've got a bumper that's only as wide as you need and fits perfectly to your chassis. Definitely worth it if you've been looking for a super simple solution. Also from TGH, they released their Shop Dog chassis. This is a Class 1 legal chassis kit. For those of you that aren't aware, in SORCA scale rules, it says that the shock towers for the front and rear have to be made separate from the chassis. They can't be integrated in. So this looks like it was laser cut from aluminum and those were cut off and then they've been re-welded onto the chassis to make it legal. Also gives you a couple of scale points since you now have metal shock towers welded to the chassis. Rules are weird, but this satisfies them. I actually drove this exact same chassis at the Rocas Rojo event in Colorado this last summer. I borrowed Chris from TGH's truck and drove it in Class 1. Did really well with it. If you're interested, these are being put up in small batches, so you just have to watch the website. pick them up when they're available. And lastly, from TGH, they released the Element Performance Kit. This is a drop-in solution for Element owners. It's a new chassis, a new front servo mount, a new panhard, a new skid plate. It does feature more ground clearance, different suspension geometry, with also some adjustability with suspension mounting places. You will need to have a 4-link setup for the rear that uses shock on axle. If you're using one of the trailing arm ones, you're going to need some links. But beyond that, they go through and outline everything that's included with this, give you some images of what to expect with this conversion for your Element. Check out all those products from TGH at teamgaragehack.com or at any of the links in the description below. A few stories for you no prep drag racers. That new Losi drag truck that was announced just a week or so ago is fully available now. It was a pre-order, but available in stock now. So just like everything we've talked about, if you see it, you've been wanting it, get it as soon as possible. Supply on everything is just not guaranteed. So another one of those. You see it, you want it, you have the money, buy it when you can. Next, a new body on pre-order from Drive RC. This is the Super Drag Bird, a very Superbird inspired vehicle. Even has the huge wing that they show on there. Probably not the fastest wing for actual drag racing, but obviously they included it for the intended style of this vehicle. Been looking for a Superbird style body for drag racing. I believe this is your only option. And lastly, on the no prep side, Proline teasing a GTR drag body. I imagine this is going to be a good looking body. Proline's been doing a great job lately. GTRs always look pretty good. So looking forward to seeing all of the details on this one. And once we do see all of that, of course, we'll mention it again here on the Scale News Update. And speaking of things coming back in stock, Proline Cliffhangers, the 1/10 scale size, back in stock. So if you, like me, have maybe been hunting for one of those recently since they've been out of stock in most places, worth picking one or two up if you're a competitive type person and like to have one available. This week, the new FMS Type 82 VW Beetle is becoming available. I believe that this is on the same chassis as the Flugelwagen, Kubelwagen, whatever it was called, little thing. It looks like it has kind of that portal setup. FMS has been doing a pretty good job with the very scale vehicles. Obviously not performance minded. We've seen that out of a lot of them, but looks pretty cool. If you have a purpose for this type of thing, they are still on the small scale. I think this is a 1/12 size and 1/12 of a fairly accurate vehicle. So very tiny, but still cool. Information rollout on these has been a little funny. I've seen it in a lot of places except FMS. So if I can find the links specifically for FMS, I'll put them below. And speaking of new things coming from FMS, it appears that they also have a 1/18 scale Unimog coming. I think that maybe it was leaked slightly, but I've seen a couple of screenshots available on a couple of different websites, or coming soon type posts on websites. It is the 1/18 Unimog 421 Scalar RTR car kit. The only photos that I've seen have been line drawings in this part, but very Unimog with a utility box, but 1/18 size, so very tiny. If you're a 124 scale fan, Furitek has another new brushless combo becoming available. This one, a little bit smaller on the motor side. That's one thing with the Furitek brushless Outrunners, is that the motor is normally massive, sits pretty far up. So this is their newest option, a smaller motor. It sits a little bit more appropriate as far as low center of gravity. Hopefully it's just as smooth and a reasonable amount of power as their previous versions. Obviously a popular choice to be found in the 124 scale scene. This being paired with one of their ESCs. I believe it comes with the Lizard version in this one. These are currently listed as a pre-order only item. Going from small scale to large scale, Kraken is releasing a couple of new 1/5 scales. These are modeled after the classic Class 1 off-road desert buggies. And it looks like they're going to have both a gas power and an electric version. They say that they, took the design of the original HBI 5B and improved it to make a more modern chassis setup. The 5B, obviously a super popular, kind of the quintessential 5th scale that blew up that scene. But right now, some preliminary info is being released on these. Prices are $15.99 to $16.99, depending on which one you're looking for. But check out the website. Pretty cool looking buggies. Definitely the desert inspiration is being shown through. And the fact that they're going right with an electric version also available. Cool to see. And then Carisma released a new version of their SCA-IE. This is the 1989 Mitsubishi Pajero. Overall, probably the best looking Carisma SCA-IE that I've seen to date. The Pajero's kind of cool. This one done fairly well in general. I'm sure the body set will be available separately. And as a bonus, the body is at a standard wheelbase. So should be able to drop that on whatever you like. But if you just want to buy it now, it is listed on the Carisma website, $359. But it does say out of stock, so maybe it's just coming soon, but not listed as a pre-order. Either way, all the details available at the link in the description. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and that means you'll get a new update on the Road to Scale Nationals. Tomorrow's video release will be from Matt over at Scale Builders Guild. Go check out his video. I'll link to the last update that I did on mine in the description below. You can go check that out now. Help get caught up on where it's at. Find all of Matt's videos, all of mine. See what we've got going on. Looking forward to that. Scale Nationals, Leesburg, Alabama in early April. 8th, 9th, 10th. Something like that. And then, of course, don't forget live stream takeover, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow as well. Check that out. We love the live stream. 101st episode coming this week. But that does it for this week's news topics. For this week's question, we talked about a bunch of different scales of things this week. 124 scale, 1/5 scale, 1/10 scale, whole range there. What is your favorite scale of RC and why? Is it 124 scale because you can mess around with them in the house in the cold in the winter, the parts are cheaper? Is it the large scale 1/5, 1/6 because they're a little bit more realistic in size and you like the physics of them? Or is it the 10 scale because of that middle ground, decent price on parts, a lot of availability? What is it? What do you prefer the most and why? As always, I enjoy reading all of your comments, my favorite part of the Scale News Update. But with that, thank you again for watching the Scale News Update every Tuesday, I hope. And if you want to know how to watch it every Tuesday, hit the like and subscribe and notification button. Then it'll tell you as soon as the videos get uploaded. It's a late night already. With that, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.